Happy New Year and welcome to Satsuki Bonsai Demystified. Today we'll be looking at a few pots by an artist renowned for his outstanding craftsmanship and meticulous attention to detail. Let's check him out. Happy New Year and welcome back. In this channel, I'm hoping to present different topics related to the culture of Satsuki Bonsai. Topics like the folks that grow Satsuki in preparation for becoming bonsai. Also, the cultural influences that have shaped the aesthetic of how Satsuki Bonsai are displayed. And of course, the containers that house our Satsuki. Because bonsai pots are inextricably linked to bonsai, I'll be devoting a few videos to pots which are so crucial in the presentation and preservation of our trees. And as we gain experience in bonsai, our understanding of the importance of quality pots is continually refined. In pursuit of that understanding, many of us develop an affinity for artists or kilns that appeal to our individual tastes, and I'll be devoting a few videos to some of mine. So, to celebrate the new year, and before we get into the really fun maintenance work which is coming up, and I can't wait to get to that stuff, I'd like to take a video to focus on bonsai pots. We'll begin with one of my favorites, Mufu, whose pots are beginning to show up now, paired with exquisite trees in both Kokufu and Taikon 10. I met this artist through Facebook. He had posted a number of his pots, some of which were unglazed, and I had sent him back a comment letting him know how much I appreciated those unglazed pots because they reminded me of Gyozan. And he took it, as anybody would, as a pretty high compliment. So we had a few more conversations and ultimately agreed to meet during one of my trips to Japan, where I could actually take a look at his pots in person. Having the chance to examine these pots up close added an entirely new dimension to my appreciation for what he was doing. The shape, the construction, and the clay he was using was absolutely impeccable. It also gave me an opportunity to examine his painted pots. And it's important to note that up to this point, I'd really never been a fan of painted pots. I'd never bought any. I always kind of felt they were a little too ostentatious. This viewing, however, completely altered my perspective, and I purchased my first painted pot. It was indigo blue, and it was absolutely gorgeous. I came to realize that bonsai with painted pots is simply another opportunity to express our creative vision. I have since purchased a number of these wonderful painted pots from Mufu. Of those, let's take a look at 8 that are particularly distinctive. These guys right here. The first 5 that you'll see are actually listed on my website for anybody that's interested. And the last 3 are actually in my personal collection. I just couldn't bring myself to let those go. So let's take a look at those pots. In selecting pieces for this video, my goal was to illustrate the range of sizes, shapes, and themes Mufu offers. So, we'll begin with this little pot you're watching right now. It was based upon Hiroshige Utagawa's famous ukiyo-e Sanjo Ohashi Bridge in Kyoto, the final destination of the 53 stations of the Tokaido Journey. In this celebrated series, the journey began in Edo, which is modern-day Tokyo, and it ends in Kyoto. And as the viewer crosses the famous Sanjo Ohashi Bridge, he looks back at the path walked thus far and reminisces about the journey now completed. To capture this ukiyo-e imagery on a small pot, Mufu had to contemplate Hiroshige's thoughts and intentions to determine which elements to emphasize. The final composition you see pays homage to Hiroshige's accomplishment and art. Now, some of you might be wondering what inspired Mufu to begin making pots, and while seeking out pots for his own bonsai, Often he was unable to find anything suitable that matched his vision. This motivated him to begin making his own pots only 12 short years ago. This next pot represents the first example of Mufu and Kicho collaboration efforts. While this pot highlights an outstanding landscape painting, what makes it stand out is the three-dimensional characteristics achieved by using Kutaniware's unique paint that establishes a stunning red base punctuated with green conifers. The pine tree looks ancient. The green shading of the pine trees is unconventional, but Mufu and Kicho challenged themselves to attempt a unique color scheme while honoring and preserving tradition. Over time, Mufu's interest in bonsai has changed to succulents. This inspired him to establish a team of ceramicists devoted to the creation of pots for succulents. They're called Mufugumi. Here's a lovely little pot that is based upon an old Chinese painting. The distinctive feature is the house placed within a dramatic, low-lying mountain range next to a lake. The artist is particularly fond of the pot's shape, which showcases its soft outer lines. Once I asked if there was a part of the pot-making process that is particularly enjoyable to him. He responded that it was the moment he removes a pot from the kiln and seeing the results at last. And as far as a kiln method goes, he prefers gas reduction firing. Oh my goodness, this pot just knocks my socks off. The painting is based upon the idiom Hyaki Yako, which means Night Parade of 100 Demons. It's a theme that has recently become popular in Japan. Many artists from different eras have created paintings based upon this subject. For this pot, Mufu and Kicho worked together to recreate the yokai, or supernatural entities, and place them thoughtfully within the surrounding scenery using paintings from each era as their motif. Look closely at the expressions on each of the yokai's face. This pot won a silver prize in the Painted Pots category at the 43rd Taikon exhibition. This piece really is a testament to the strength of the Mufu-Kicho collaboration. Here, the artistry Kicho exhibits through his mastery of painting technique transcends the purpose for which the pot was created. Even if we don't find the right tree to grace this pot, its sumptuous coloration and creative imagery will enable us to display it as a piece of art. Yeah, this pot is just way too cool. It's based upon the Great Wave off Kanagawa by Hokusai from the series 36 Views of Mount Fuji. Mufu and Kicho created 4 different depictions of Fujisan and the rough waves to grace each side of this piece. This pot also scored a silver prize in the Painted Pots category at the 43rd Taikon exhibition. On a related note, I asked Mufu if there was any project he took particular pride in. There sure was. It was a set of small pots that each represented one of the 36 views of Mount Fuji by Hokusai. I saw photos of the project and they were absolutely spectacular. With this pot, I am captivated by the serenity of the scene. The two ships, artfully highlighted by their white sails, are leaving port at dawn, departing a rocky coastline bordered by rugged mountainous terrain. A unique atmosphere is created by depicting a bright sky contrasted by mountains still dark in the early morning hours. I asked Mufu about his thought process when designing pots. He responded that because bonsai means planting in a pot, he considers the balance between the pot and the plant. The plant and pot are codependent, so he always thinks about shapes and colors that are integrated with the plant when making pottery. Bonsai continues to evolve over time. So, as a result, he feels obligated to create pots with shapes and colors that suit the times. This is yet another pot that just blew me away. The shape of the pot paired with an intriguing painting is incredibly unique and appealing. The image is based upon a painting called Asameyama Shinkeizu, or True View of Mount Asama, by an Edo period artist named Ike Taiga. Taiga-san pioneered a unique, realistic perspective in his landscape paintings. Here, the painting depicts the surrounding sacred peaks with Mount Asama at the center. This composition shows the mountains from above, which would have been difficult to see at the time, and honors the spirit and intent originated by Taiga-san. In every piece he creates, Mufu remains dedicated to preserving and celebrating the culture of Japan. And now we come to what is probably my favorite pot. I seem to say that a lot, don't I? Anyhow, today, this is my favorite pot. I just love the shape and style, and it's among the largest of porcelain pots made in this style. The drawing is based upon an ancient coastal city in southern China, close to Vietnam. The coastline, buildings, and ships are indicative of the period. Because the shape is unusual, he wasn't sure what to draw at first. But, after much consideration, he thought a composition that makes strategic use of the sea would be good, so he chose that subject. Mufu is worried about the current climate of pot sales where pots made in China and Taiwan are being sold as Japanese pots. It's difficult to identify the lower quality pots in photographs, but low prices and few supporting photos are a good indicator. These lower quality pots will also forge the lakkan, or stamps, of well-known Japanese kilns so only purchase through reputable sellers. Finally, I want to share a concern Mufu has regarding the state of pot making in Japan today. He feels we are in a critical situation where, due to an aging workforce that includes master pot makers, Japan lacks a pool of successors necessary to carry the art forward. I have witnessed this reality myself when visiting the various kilns in Tokonami. While I'm intoxicated by each visit, the experience is suffused with a melancholy that I am witnessing the end of an art. Large operations at notable kilns are staffed by one person, the master. Multiple alcoves where pots are made stand vacant. And when powerhouses like Yamaaki are driven out of business due to a glut of low-quality, low-priced bonsai pots, anyone in the bonsai community who appreciates high-quality Japanese pots should be concerned. But enough of that. In this video, we are here to celebrate a remarkable maker of pots. So let's get back to Mufu. I hope you enjoyed this focus on Mufu's painted pots today. This artist creates some of the finest contemporary painted pots coming out of Japan today, and I hope you'll follow him on his Facebook site. If you are interested in any of the first 5 pots that you saw, you can see them out on nasbc.com. And if you're liking these videos, please be sure to click the little like button or subscribe to our channel. We got a lot more stuff coming up that's going to be really great. Thank you for watching today, and I'll see you in the next video.